Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Pakistan, they've signed a mutual defence pact because of fears of regional attacks by Iran-backed militias. Tehran's face-off with its neighbours and with Washington continues, as we know, but there are continuing suggestions of progress in negotiations for both a peace deal and the reopening of the vital Strait of Hormuz, more of which later in the programme. Alan Eyre was a long-time Iran expert for the US government and a key member of the negotiating team for the 2015 nuclear agreement with Iran. He's now a distinguished diplomatic fellow with the Middle East Institute and joins us now. Hello to you, Alan Eyre.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you very much for asking. And I wonder, you with your expert eye, are you hopeful that there can be a deal in the Middle East?
Well, I'm hopeful, reasonably hopeful, that there will be a limited deal regarding the future of the Strait of Hormuz that allows maritime traffic to increase, though I don't think we'll get to the pre-war levels anytime soon. That's pretty much the extent of my hope as I regard the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many questions. I mean, what happens about curtailing Iran's nuclear ambitions, which was, of course, the meat of the Memorandum of Understanding that was signed back in June. That seems to have gone away as a prospect, doesn't it?
I think it's unlikely. I think the Trump administration is either unwilling or unable to negotiate in a serious and sustained manner with Iran. And certainly Iran has lost all trust and confidence in this U.S. administration. So if President Trump and his administration are willing to accept the same deal that was on the table when we attacked Iran on February 28th, then there could be a nuclear deal. But I think even that's going to be a lot of hard work that this administration really doesn't want to do.
And how can there be a deal or progress in the Strait of Hormuz while there continues to be a blockade by the US in that strait? Iran certainly says that it can't come to any sort of agreement unless that happens. And in the meantime, you've got Iran and Oman sort of dividing up the strait and policing it themselves.
Well, Oman is a reluctant partner. Oman just wants the strait to be opened again. It's not looking to monetize or weaponize its relative control of the strait. In effect, it's not going to have any control of the strait. It has no military. It can't threaten to close the strait. This whole Strait of Hormuz issue right now is Iran wants strategic control of maritime traffic through the strait as a form of strategic deterrence to prevent future attacks by the U.S. and Israel. So that, unfortunately, is going to be the new normal, at least for the short to midterm, where Iran controls the flow of traffic through the strait in contravention to the previous international law regime of freedom of navigation. So the U.S. is losing that battle.
So you agree with those, do you, who say that Iran now has huge amounts of leverage? They can now call for unfreezing of assets and sanctions. They can just try to influence the behaviour of their neighbours. Their ability, their military leverage as well, is stronger than before. Do you agree with people saying that?
No, let's not go overboard here. They have leverage in the context of the future of the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to use that to prevent future attacks, and they might try to monetize that control to get some income. Well, that will decrease as years go by and all the countries inside the Persian Gulf seek alternatives. But they're not going to use leverage on the strait to get their assets unblocked or to get sanctions relief. That's not going to happen. But they don't necessarily need that to happen. They just want some type of leverage to decrease the possibility of future attacks by the United States.
OK, and in the meantime, a very quick word from you on this mutual defence pact we're hearing about between Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Pakistan. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's part and parcel of the new reality in the Strait that the Gulf countries need to do some strategic hedging. They're not going to forsake security alliances with the United States, but they're not going to rely exclusively on them. So Saudi Arabia says, based on this war, we want to strengthen and diversify our security arrangements, and we're doing that with Pakistan, who they've already had strong relations with, and with Turkey. But we'll see how far that goes. If Iran attacks Saudi Arabia, is Pakistan going to attack Iran? So we'll see how strong the alliance is.
Alan Eyre, thank you so much for joining us. Great to talk to you this afternoon. That is Alan Eyre from the Middle East Institute.